My name is Maria. I am 48 years old. I want to tell you a story. It is not easy, but it matters. This story is about love, hurt, and forgiveness. When I was young, I met a man named Daniel. We met in a small cafe. I was reading a book. He came over and asked, "Do you like that book?" I smiled and said, "Yes, it's my favorite." We started talking. We liked the same songs. We both loved the outdoors. We both dreamed of having a big family. 1 week later, we met again. Then we started dating. We were happy. After 1 year, we got married. I wore a white dress. He held my hand and said, "I will love you forever." I believed him. We moved into a little house. It was not large, but it was warm and full of love. Daniel worked as a teacher. I worked in a flower shop. Every morning he kissed me before work. Every evening we sat together and watched the sunset from our porch. Later we had two daughters, Rose and Ella. Daniel said, "They are as beautiful as you." He loved to read to them at night. He helped them with homework. He called them his shining stars. I was busy with the house. I cooked, cleaned, and cared for the girls. But I was happy. I felt safe. I felt loved. Daniel didn't bring me flowers often. He didn't write me poems. But he said, "Wear your coat, it's cold." He said, "Sit down, I'll wash the dishes." That was how he showed his love. When the girls grew older, I went back to full-time work. Daniel also changed jobs. He started working for a big company in the city. He came home late. He was always tired. I asked, "Are you okay?" He said, "I'm just busy. Don't worry." But something felt different. He didn't smile much. He didn't talk to me like before. He began locking his phone. He stopped calling me during the day. I felt something was wrong. One evening he said, "I need to go on a work trip." I said, "Okay, be safe," but my heart felt heavy. He was gone for 3 days. When he came back, he didn't hug me or ask about the girls. He only said, "I'm tired. I need to sleep." One afternoon, my friend Clara came to the flower shop. She looked worried. She said, "Maria, I saw Daniel with another woman." I said, "No, that can't be true." She said, "They were holding hands." "I'm sorry." My hand shook. My heart felt cold. I closed the shop early. I went home and waited. That night, I asked Daniel, "Do you have someone else?" He looked down and stayed quiet. I said, "Please tell me the truth." He said, "Yes, I'm sorry." I asked, "Are you leaving me?" He said, "Yes, I love her." I didn't cry in front of him. He packed his bag. He left. The door closed. My world fell apart. After Daniel left, everything changed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I felt empty. I sat in the kitchen for hours. The house felt big and silent. Every corner held a memory. The girls came home from school. I told them the truth. Ella cried. Rose asked, "Why did Dad do this?" I didn't know the answer. I said, "He is still your father. Respect him." But he hurt me. The nights were the worst. The bed was cold. The silence was loud. One day Clara came again. She said, "Maria, Let's go out. I said, no, I don't want to. She said, you need fresh air, please. We went to a children's hospital. Clara was a volunteer there. She said, come and meet someone. She introduced me to a little girl named Sophia. Sophia had no hair. She was very sick, but she smiled and said, do you want to see my drawing? It showed a sun and two people holding hands. I said, it's beautiful. Sophia said, that's me and my mom. We go to the park in my dreams. Tears came to my eyes. I asked, do you go outside? She said, not now, but maybe one day. Clara said, these mothers sleep here. They don't go home. I looked at them. They looked tired, but they still smiled. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Sophia. The next day, I went back to the hospital. I brought flowers and cookies. The children smiled. I started going every week. I read stories. I painted with the kids. I found sponsors to help buy medicine. I talked to mothers. I listened. Slowly, I began to smile again. I was not just someone who was left. I was someone who brought hope. Helping the children helped me. My daughter saw me change. Rose said, Mom, you're strong. Ella hugged me. We started cooking together, walking, and laughing again. Time passed. 10 years went by. My daughters grew up, moved out, found jobs, and started their own lives. I still worked in the flower shop. I still visited the hospital. I still helped the children. One Mother's Day, I made tea and waited for my daughters. Then someone knocked. I opened the door. It was Daniel. He looked older. His hair was gray. His face looked tired. He said, Hi, Maria. Can we talk? I didn't know what to say. He said, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can I come in? I stepped back and said, This is your old house. You can come in. He sat on the couch and looked around. It feels the same, but I feel different. I stayed quiet. He said, She left me. The woman I left you for, she lied. Her child wasn't mine. I looked at him. He seemed small, weak, not the man I once knew. He said, I have nowhere else to go. I don't want your money. I just want to say sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't know what to say. I felt pain, anger, and confusion. I also felt something softer. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I said, You can stay in the guest room. It's clean. He nodded. Thank you. That night I couldn't sleep. I remembered our first day in this house, our wedding, our girls when they were little, and the day he left. I also remembered the day I met Sophia at the hospital. That day made me strong, but now Daniel was back, and it felt heavy. The next morning, I made coffee. Daniel came into the kitchen. He looked unsure. Good morning, he said. I only nodded and put a cup in front of him. He smiled a little. Thank you. After breakfast, he went outside. The fence was broken. I saw him pick up tools and start fixing it. He looked slower than before, older, but he worked with care. I didn't say anything. In the evening, I made rice, vegetables, and chicken. Daniel sat down and said, It smells good, Maria. I didn't answer. We ate quietly. Then he said, I miss your cooking. No one cooks like you. I said, You made your choice, Daniel. He looked down. I know. I'm sorry. After dinner, he offered to help wash the dishes. I said, no, I can do it. He nodded and went to the guest room. That night, my daughters visited. They were surprised to see Daniel. Ella said, Dad, what are you doing here? Daniel looked down. I made a mistake. I hurt your mother. I want to fix it. Rose looked at me. Mom, are you okay with this? I said, I don't know yet. They took me into another room. Ella said, Mom, you don't have to let him stay. We can take care of you. I smiled. I just need time to think. That night, I sat on the porch. I looked at the stars. I asked myself, can people really change? Can I trust Daniel again? Will he leave again? He hurt me badly, but he was also the father of my daughters. He worked hard for our family. We raised our girls together. I didn't have the answers. The next morning, Daniel fixed the garden gate. He cleaned the windows and repaired a chair. He didn't talk much. He gave me space. Days passed like this. One afternoon, my granddaughter Emily came to visit. She ran inside, saw Daniel, and shouted, Grandpa. She hugged him. Daniel smiled. It was the first time I had seen him truly smile in years. Emily said, Grandma, Grandpa says he missed me. Can we go to the park together? I didn't want to, but Emily held my hand. Please, Grandma, it will be fun. I looked into her big eyes. Okay, let's go. At the park, Emily played on the swings. Daniel and I sat on a bench. He said, Thank you for letting me come back, Maria. I said, I haven't decided yet, Daniel. He nodded. I understand. Take your time. More days passed. Daniel stayed in the guest room. He fixed things. He cleaned the garage. He didn't ask for anything. One morning, Clara came by. She saw Daniel and raised her eyebrows. After he left the room, she asked, Are you okay with him here? I said, I don't know. I feel angry, but I also feel sorry for him. Clara said, You don't have to forgive him now, but maybe this is a chance to heal for both of you. That night, I thought about her words. Maybe she was right. Maybe healing needs two people. The next morning, I made breakfast and called Daniel to the table. He looked surprised and nervous. I said, I don't know if I can forgive you, but I want to try. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. Thank you, Maria. I will do everything to make it right. After that, we began talking more. We spoke about the past. Daniel said again and again, I'm sorry. He said he didn't understand what he had before. He said he was selfish. One evening we sat in the garden. He said, I don't expect you to forget, but I hope one day you can forgive. I said, Daniel, I will forgive you, but it will take time. You have to show me you've changed. Over time, things improved. We started laughing again. We remembered the good days. We talked about our daughters and Emily. We even watched the sunset like before. One morning, Daniel brought me tea in bed. I said, Careful, don't spill it this time. We both laughed. It was a small moment, but it meant a lot. I still don't know what the future holds. Forgiveness is not easy. It takes time, love, and patience. Maybe one day our family will feel whole again. Not the same as before, but something new, something stronger, something honest. I hope you enjoyed this story. Maria's journey is full of feelings, choices, and strength. What do you think? Should she forgive Daniel completely and start again, or move forward on her own? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you more stories like this. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.